This is the It Gets to a Point podcast featuring yours truly, Valerie Marie, and let's have a conversation. Today, we are all about self-caring. Today, we are all about ways to pour into oneself. Because guess what? When it comes to motherhood, when it comes to adulting, when it comes to everyday routine and schedule, I feel as a woman that is all about the grind, all about the hustle, all about finding unique, creative ways to find more security, whether that be financial security, whether that be secure within myself, creating safe spaces. As a mother, we have to learn that the guilt tripping for really needing time for ourselves to find ways to exercise our minds, bodies, and souls should never be a reach. So, this particular episode is going to be take care of you. Take care of you is all about whatever it is that you find to be your joy. Your joy could be walking. Your joy could be sitting outside. Your joy could be going on a trip. Your joy could be doing facials. I don't feel there is a limit to finding your joy. The only way it becomes a limit is if you create a limit. Many times as human beings, we feel like in order to find our joy, we always need to be around noise. We always need to be around people. When as a whole, as a collective, actually, we do much better when we do get that free time. When we do have time to just think, just to have that time or a couple of hours just to breathe. I feel like we forget that it is not considered to be isolation because you want a safe space for yourself and you want to create that safe space in your home. It's your home. Your home is where your heart is. And I feel thoroughly 100,000% women should always look for unique ways to pour not only into each other, but also into self. Because if you're not taking care of you, how can you take care of anyone else? If you're not pouring into you, how can you pour into anyone else? Like the showing up is just not about the let them. It's just not about the proximities. It's just not about all of the things. It's about I need to take time for myself. I need to ensure that I'm saving time for myself. Okay. We spend hours out of each year working, dedicate tons and tons of hours to work, tons and tons of hours to family, to errands. What about the little bit of the percentage? If you was to graph out all of the time, the percentile of time you've spent caterings and catering to other people's needs, whether it be career, whether it be family, whether it be children, out of all the time throughout the year that you've spent doing what you needed to do as an adult, I guarantee you the ratio of you pouring into yourself is probably the lowest out of all the graphs between family work and career and parenthood. And for me, I know there's never going to be a balance because everything is about a lifestyle and we all live different lifestyles. We all are, in different regions within life and we all see life clearly differently. And that's okay. That's what makes diversity so great. When you have different groups of people with different mindsets that are mature enough for those that can and transparent enough to realize collectively no one is the same. No one family member is the same. Everyone is individual. And when we realize as individuals, we do need to take a seat. We really do need to take a seat and just rest ourselves sometimes. That it's okay to not feel you have to constantly be doing something every 24/7. That it is not considered lazy when you've worked all week. It's not considered lazy when you've given and poured in every way you can think of. That taking time and taking the initiative to have a high level of discernment to know when it's time to take a step back and really just find outreach within yourself. That means the spa days. That means the nature walks. That means just whatever it is that you can do within your proximities, within your ecosystem, within your life, that you can just set aside some time to just really pour into self. Pouring into self is one of the things that, as a quote unquote a delay is not a denial, something that I've said for a very long time. It just came to me one day. I'm constantly watching things to educate myself, giving myself soul food by looking at podcasts that pour into me, looking and observing documentaries that give me that feel good feeling, listening to feel good music. Right now at 41 years old, it is all about the self-care. It is all about taking care of self, because I have done more overly than what I was supposed to and needed to do when it comes to being consistent and ensuring everything from work to family to home. And now it's time for me to do me. And doing me is one thing that I really am serious about at 41 years old. And not to put emphasis on the age, but yes, ma'am. I know we have some that bloom early. I know we have some that bloom medium, and I know we have some that bloom late. And yes, I am one of the ones that is a late bloomer when it comes to being attentive and not giving so much of myself and allowing my boundaries to be leaked. But better late than never. So I am thankful that at 41, better late than never, now than later, that I have found my niche. I found my gift. I found a safe space for me. And I am very protective over my safe space, over what makes me feel good about me, over what is my joy. And it could be the most simple thing. And I feel like in life today, in the grand scheme of things, I discussed this on my live on TikTok. And for long form content, I use the It Gets to a Point podcast. For short form content, my TikTok, It Gets to a Point, Valerie Jones. Valerie with the two A's, that's where we go. Because I like to be able to have diverse areas to have outreach and pour over, to assist people with tips and tricks and maybe think pieces that are more educational, more informative, more fun. As a Libra, I like to give all of the things. I'm multi-hyphenate, meaning I'm multi-creative. I can't fit all the things that I do, whether it be my creative side or my educational needs as far as my certifications and all that I have given and learned and did to make those needed sacrifices so that I am able to get better opportunities within this world. Because guess what? I worked very hard and I did the work. So when you do the work, you still doing the work, you've accomplished many things, and you are at a place to where you just want to be soft and you just want to be safe. And when I say soft and safe, it is not like I'm falling for anything, because I'm definitely one of the ones that's way more hard than soft. Let's be clear, when it comes to handling myself and my business, I play zero games. When it comes to me and my feelings, I'm very vocal about what I stand for. But when I say soft, it is about the heart shell that we all tend to have when we have given all that we can give and poured into people throughout life, and some that was never meant to get the versions of ourselves that was more lenient or more easy. And you have to really constantly keep relearning yourself. You have to really keep constantly figuring it out, that everybody's date and time of success, of pivoting, a reach, of having a substantial pour over income, or finding the love of your life, or just being in a place where you have zero worries or concerns. I feel, as I study, as I look, as I observe, every successful person, regardless of your bracket and level of success, regardless of what you've chosen to do within this life, there has been, a level of a plot twist to where it has not been easy. If it was not inherited to you, you had to start from ground zero. And the walk and the journey was not always flatlined or seamless. That some of the most successful people, from my view, from the people that I enjoy following, from the people that I am inspired from, that could be individuals that have, gotten successful in finance or music or theater or entertainment or teachings or just creative collaboration. I don't really see the actual career to dawn on, because we all have different things that we enjoy doing. And some of us have our hands in 4 or 5 things. So I don't really like to title people with a career title, because 9 times out of 10, anyone that is successful, they probably got their hands in several different, things. But what I do like about the beauty in the success is knowing that you're becoming, sometimes it's a slow burn. And I want to encourage every single adult, every single young adult that is watching my podcast, It Gets to a Point podcast. This is the episode, Self-Care. Take care of you. That you have to realize that just because it has not happened does not mean it's not going to happen. Just because it is a delay, that does not necessarily mean it will be a denial. Just because things don't happen the instance you want it to happen, it does not mean it's not going to happen. I feel that we have to learn the art. And when I say we, I'm speaking for myself as well. The art of patience, and understanding that when you're saying you're going to be patient with the process, that means that you're not going to allow your intrusive thoughts, the flight and fight mode, the version of yourself that was kind of disencouraging, that wanted you to believe you couldn't do a thing until you did a thing. That sometimes we, meaning you, meaning I, be in our own way. Because the minute the blessing is about to come, the minute the pour over is about to transgress, we get so caught up in our heads, we forget to be human. And I feel like in the world today, as I'm learning more, as I am studying more, as I'm giving myself the time, the patience, the consideration, because guess what? I've done it for everyone. Now I'm doing it for myself. That I just feel it's a beautiful thing when you can see your transition. Your skin feels better, and this is filter free. You feel more joy. You feel more purpose in life. And it is not an easy process to really take initiative to get out of that complicated, perplex. It's easy for a person that is a giver to give to everyone, and it becomes complicated to give to yourself to an extent when you have spent years just giving more than what you may have received. Years for always being the go-to for people, friendships, always being a safe space for others. And it can be draining. That was my epiphany some time ago. I got tired of being drained. I got tired of everyone calling me upon their convenience. I got tired of doing things that didn't sit right in my spirit. I got tired of always being the one. So I took a step back. I purposely took a step back to see who would call. I purposely took a step back to see who would care. I purposely took a step back, and when I did, it exposed to me those that as long as you're giving, as long as you're calling, as long as you're there for them, their needs, their concerns, you're good. But the minute you need someone, it's almost crickets. It is absolutely almost crickets, and you probably can count on your hand how many people are there when you feel like crashing out, when you feel like there's no hope, when you're looking for ways to be in a different mindset, finding new ways to find a purpose in living. And thus, we all have our days. We all have our ways. I feel like the lack of understanding, understanding, and understanding. We have learned to understand, but have we learned to understand? Have we learned to understand? So the understand is the insides of you. It is working on the insides of you, protecting the insides of you, nourishing the insides of you. The outer stand is the transparency of me understanding you, understanding the next person, the third party, being transparent. The understanding is the agree to disagree, but respectfully. And I just feel like as I continue to study myself, as I continue to grow within life, I do not play about me in the now. That the best thing that ever happened for me, to me, and by me is realizing what people's motives were in regards to being and having a place and a seat at my table or in proximities of me. And to know that when it's all said and done, I am blessed and highly favored to learn that it don't take all of that. I would rather a fake person be exposed and walk completely out of my life than waste my time and energy selling me a dream they cannot afford. I would rather continue to be in love on me and allow the very few people in my private domain to really show up. Those handful of friends, real friends. I'm not talking about delayed friends. I'm not talking about iffy friends. I'm not talking about inconsistent friends. I'm talking about real people in real time. If you call them, if you need them, there is no excuses about what they got going on. Is no excuses about the if, ands, and the buts, because I do not desire a selfish, one-sided nothing. Not friendships, not relationships, not anything involving ships. I don't want anything to do with putting all that on me to be the one to always reach out. No family member, no friendship, no relationship. I have boundaries. And if you can't take the initiative to lift your finger to contact me, then babe, I'm not going to be the one that's doing it. I feel just as important as you. I feel just as great as you. And it is not about a wicked competition of who call and who does it, but it says a lot when you can sit up here and you can observe the fact that if you do not reach out to people, there's not going to be any reaching. And those are the type of people I stay clean far away from, because that's not good for the version of me that I am developing and becoming. And I'd rather you just go on with your selfish life, your selfish ways. Because guess what? I'm going to be okay regardless. You may be over there stuck in anxiety and all of this other stuff because the way you live is causing you to overthink. The way that you are, the way you move, I don't want any parts of that. I'm too busy focused on what I need to do to better myself and loving who loves on me. enjoying who pours into me, and vice versa. Meaning, I am the type of person that I want to do things that I can be passionate about, and those things can be passionate about me. That means people, places, and things. That means I no longer want to work for companies that just want to use me for 8 to 9 hours and send me on my way home with inflammation and bad feet. Just not a vibe for me. I no longer want to deal with fake coworkers. I no longer want to use just being in proximities and having all the education, certifications, everything that I have done within my lifespan to up the score and still get counted out, and you choose someone that is the teacher's pet. Like, I don't feel when you have all the attributes, when you've done all the work, people who really show up should have to work as hard as they do to be seen. I feel, again, I talk about this all the time on all my platforms. When you have toxic leadership, they're going to always show up for who is beneficial to them, their time, and what they want to do, which again leads back to what I was just talking about, a level of selfishness. I just don't desire that in my life right now. And the peace that I have worked on, the peace that I have created, it is not for sale. It is not up for sale. And there's a level of boundaries that I have, including with my household. I refuse to settle for less because I know who I am at my core. And regardless of what goes up or what goes down, I never feel insecure about anything. I see everything as a lesson. And I take whatever I need and I silently recreate a better version of myself. Each time something happens, each time something does not feel right, each time that I may not understand. That if we would realize collectively that there is no wrong or right way to do things, there is a wrong or right way to say things depending on tone and approach. But sometimes those outdated versions of yourself, people who are not growing, people that are very stagnant, people that are highly oppressed will try to condemn you to be stuck in areas in your mind and in your soul and in your body that you don't even relate to anymore. And see, that's just that psyche that try to psych you out because they really going through the shits. And you have to realize it is not your fight to fight everybody's fight. It is not your wave to wither away on account of this person has no boundaries and has high expectations for everything, but do not inquire or even try to be consistent or fair. The type of people like that, if I can help it, want nothing to do with you because you're not growing. Now you're getting older and you're looking older, but mentally you're still the same stubborn, stagnant individual that does not practice what you preach. You do not want anything more for anyone if you feel they're doing better than you. Don't want anything to do with it because who the fuck is competing when you're over the age of 40? Why do you even care what someone else is doing? Why are you even wasting your good brain cells that you have left to compete and compare yourself with someone else's life? Everyone's life is different. Everyone goes through different things. We may have similar experiences, but my experiences is my experiences. I'm fully held accountable for me, and I feel like once mankind realized when you work on you for you and you stop looking for validation, you stop looking for calls, you stop pitying, you stop beating yourself up over things that you absolutely 1,000% cannot change, that's when the becoming awakes. But until then, you're going to keep being like a dog chasing your tail because you just don't get it. In this day and time, you can feel the heaviness of overdoing anything. Life is very trying in 2026. There's constantly something going on within this minute that I'm recording this video. And you just have to figure out how to pivot. We have to figure out how to pivot. We have to figure out, we can pray about it, we can meditate on it, but we're not Superwoman and Superman. Thus, we may all want to be Sometimes even Superman and Superwoman get tired and have been known to put up the cape. Like, we have to stop being so hard on ourselves. Find routines that is self-friendly, that does not inquire a whole crowd of people, does not inquire a schedule where you have to feel if you don't do this, you're going to get mom guilt, you're going to get relationship guilt. We're not guilting anything because guess what? We're human. We deserve the breaks. We deserve, as women collectively, to pour into ourselves. We deserve to find a sanctuary, to find a safe space that builds character, that builds trust, that keeps us growing and glowing. Everything that is put out in these algorithms on social media is absolutely not for everyone. Certain things that used to be for you may no longer be for you because we are allowed to change. We are allowed to rebrand. We are allowed to let go of things that do not service who we are becoming in the now. And that's totally up to each individual self. So I wouldn't be so quick to beat yourself up if things do not go the way you want them to go. You didn't get the promotion, you didn't get the car, you didn't get the raise. Who's to say it's not going to happen? Who's to say it will not happen? But it's a mind thing. If you feel that it's not going to happen and you hover over that and you claim that and you speak that, it probably won't. But if you peace be still, you give yourself time, you keep applying yourself, you keep stay consistent in your craft, stay light foot, meaning don't overcompensate it. Understand that it's for you, it will happen, but don't overly consume yourself to where you grow so obsessed over it, because thinking too much about things can ruin it as well. But that's not a topic that a lot of people talking about. That sometimes I had a conversation with a friend, and I am still learning myself. I am still giving myself the space to do so. And they was like, Valerie, I know you care deeply and passionate, but what I realize about you, you have to learn to let go. Because thus you say you forgive, thus you say you've moved on. When that thing or that person triggers you, it's almost a level of a grudge. And then it brings a side of you out that is agreeable to disagree. When sometimes people are who they are. Everybody's not going to be a happy camper in life. Everybody's not going to understand you. Everybody's not going to even like you, and that's absolutely okay. The less the merrier. They talk about the more the merrier. Babe, when you get older, the less the merrier. Because at the end of the day, I don't want a bunch of fake people around me anyways. I don't want people that I cannot trust. I don't want to have to feel, okay, is this day, can I have a good day with this person? I need consistency. All flats, I don't want any of that foolishness. And that is just me having a boundary with myself and knowing what it is that I want, because I deserve it and that's my right. And because I can be what I am asking for, there is no reason for me to not want it. So it's almost like a mind over matter. I can only control me. But I'm really not good with being the consistent friend, with being the consistent partner, with constantly pouring into everyone else, and you're half-ass doing stuff. That mind boggles me. That people will make up excuses to really show up and be so cold and nonchalant and no accountability. I feel like something happened in between the 90s transitioning into the 2000s, early 2000s, and where we are right now. There was a slope, a slippery slope, where the level of accountability went out the door, because it's getting to the point that people that are more younger or more mature about being accountable than grown adults that have been around for a long time, or more so educated on business, been working long enough to know better. It's just almost like a bunch of grown adults that have the adult number far as the age, but mentally you act like children. That the children is more mature than the adults that's been here. Like, I'm not understanding, baby. It's not clicking, Steven. And I needed to click because I have been observing, I have watched, and I'm telling you, I went to university and I was deaf scared of plagiarism. I'm telling you what other people is talking about on the different social media platforms. I'm telling you what's being constantly addressed on other podcasts. The level of adult accountability is trash right now. And this is why we are in the positions that we are in. And there has been a lot of resilencing, a lot of NDAs, a lot of imprisoning the mind to protect the quote unquote bad guys or the people in certain areas of elite, because they want to make sure that for this extended amount of time, whatever you address is not going to make them look bad and their money and all of the things. And it's just like, listen, if you're not a good person, right? It's not a piece of paper in the world that can save you. And the issue is because everything has just been evolved around money, evolved around time. The lack of principle has lost us because that is highly all surface level. And you cannot replace the same energy of an individual. Thus, people will come and go. People have gotten so stuck in routine, so stuck in numbers and money, that if you were to be stripped of all of that, can you still love yourself with less when you're no longer the popular girl or guy? Can you still love yourself more without having a panic attack every 5 minutes, without over analyzing principles that were surface level? Can you get back 10 after everything you thought was your safety and security? Can you move in a room full of vultures and know you're going to be okay? A good percentage of people that have financial security feel so top on the world that they feel they are exempt to being accountable. And hiding behind money when money don't carry half the value that it used to. It is like, when will we look in the mirror and realize that people are going to remember you for one of two things: how good you were to them, or how nasty you were to them. So we expect for people to reciprocate the energy that we give on that day. Human beings are known to be hot, then cold, then hot, then cold. Love you Monday, can't stand you on Friday. But the character, there's a lot of people, regardless of how you go to work, dress up in the suit, in the tie, in the outfits, you have very bad character, and you hide your character and your true principles at your core because you feel no one can read you on the inside. Some people like me can see past the smoke in the mirrors, beloved, that you are very much stuck in your own way because you feel this job is going to save you. You feel that this outfit, this illusion is going to save you, this organization, these relationships. Like, it's a lot of hiding behind this, that, and the third. It's a lot of layers of hiding that when one strips all of that, become completely naked from it all, can you still show up with the same confidence? Most cannot, because not having job security could make a person feel complacent and cause them a mental disorder. If you're not mentally strong enough and you've always had the privilege and the entitlement for someone to come save you or protect you, or if you lose one thing, you have such a big network, you're able to gain, everybody don't have that. Good for you, but everybody don't have that safety net, right? So I think the selfishness with mankind and not thinking that no one needs a break. We are not robots. Thus, we are in a very hyper technology where things in life has evolved to an extent to where we've grown so codependent on technology. We are now relearning how to balance. I'll give a little credit. We still got a lot of work, but we're learning that sometimes you need to take a break from technology. We as the human race, the elite race of the mammal family, we are supposed to be controlling the narrative. The narrative is not supposed to be controlling us. Thus, the narratives have been controlling us due to media, due to social medias, and due to life. And we are all in a level of high anxiety because we're constantly festering and needing things to substitute how we truly feel. And we get so stubborn and stuck in our own head that we can't even really express how we truly want to feel because we really don't trust anybody. And because you really don't trust anybody, and when it comes time, because you've already experienced what people have done when you did put trust into them, they done some things that wasn't distrusting. So what can you do when you've done all you can do? Find you a safe space, learn your boundaries, pour into yourself, revamp, rebrand, and find your becoming. That is the best advice that I can give myself. That is the best advice I can give you. And understand, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to always be made up. There are times when I'm on a full face of makeup and I'm doing my lives and I'm doing my podcast here. It gets to a point. And there's times when I'm like, I'm in my glasses, I'm in my relaxed default state of mind. And when that message comes to me and it's something that I can give to others and I can share, and I'm in the correct mind space and I have the time and I feel up to it, it's never a problem to show up. But if I'm not well, if I don't feel up to par, I'm just not the type of person that could be that inconsistent to be in spaces that is going to draw in attention and not really give my all and not really genuinely, authentically be able to pour into my audience in a way that is going to touch someone. That I don't need to have a caboodle of followers. I don't expect that much when I'm only have a couple of episodes of my podcast and I'm doing it right from my home. But I do like that I have some views, and it's a start because I feel like everything is a stepping stone. Everything is a start. And with me vocalizing, and my voice is my niche, it is my gift. As time progresses, I will be better at my podcasting. I will be better at being more consistent with levels of talks and speaking, but it takes time, and I'm okay with that. I'm consistent to where it works for me. It is a safe space for me, and it is helping someone. So if I'm getting some views, you got to start somewhere. No one built Rome overnight, and no one gets it right every time. But for me, as a late bloomer, I would say the quote unquote metaphor rose in concrete, because everyone's life lessons, disciplines, and things that we endure in life, some of us may grew out of the ground. Some of us, metaphorically, hypothetically speaking, may have grown out of the cement, and some of us may have grown out of the concrete. Like if you look outside, literally, you'll see sometimes plants are growing. If the roads are aged, they're literally growing from up under the concrete. So think about how deep it is, that it's a layer that mankind built a layer of concrete for us to drive the roads, but still that green plant is able to come through that hard cemented concrete. When you pay attention to life and you just look outside, and you look outside yourself, look outside the box. There was a stating that I created. I've never seen anyone else say it. I even had it up on my teams at my past job. When life gives you lemons, make fruit punch strategy. That life is layered. It's very layered. It's very tricky. It's very catchy. It has its ups and downs. But the key word that I've learned is the but. We talk about all of the things that happen to and fro, but the but is what I realized that I was missing. Even when you do not feel like it, Even when you want to stay stuck, do it, because as long as you are trying and you're staying consistent, as long as you're doing something, you may not be able to say a full prayer if you're a prayer warrior and you enjoy meditating. But as long as you can give yourself that at least 5 to 10 minutes to say, I just want to show gratitude to myself, to be grateful that I may not have the hour that I like to contribute to myself. I may not even have the 30 minutes, but I want to give myself some time, even if it's a walk, even if it's a talk, even if it's in the shower, even if it's at dinner, to show up for me. And what I feel we forgot is showing up for ourselves, because we're so busy doing it for the family. We're so busy doing it for the career. We're so busy living through everyone else except ourselves. And when you start to pour back into yourself, when you start to realize you deserve a piece of the pie that you have helped create, meaning your life, your health, your strength, that we be so busy feeding everybody, we forget to feed ourselves. So I am glad that I am living and learning. Life is all about the living and the learning, and finding my safe space and really just enjoying my becoming, the good, the bad. That when you are a strong woman and you are a woman that knows what she wants, and by all means, regardless of the journey, getting back 10, I don't know if it's just the Libra in me. There is absolutely nothing that can keep me down, because I've experienced so much throughout my life since 8 years old, that I am strong by choice and force, but I am learning where to be strong at within my life, where to be soft at, learning, because I've been in my masculine state for so long. Starting off as a young single mother years ago, and now learning relationships and really just enjoying being in one and figuring it out, bro. Because there is like no list to how life is going to manually be, how parenting is going to be. I feel like as a collective, we be so hard on ourselves and others. We forget that, hello, we're still human over here. Like, if you're expecting me to be perfect, then you should I expect for you to be perfect? Like, I just feel like when we lower our expectations of people, or don't even put any expectations on them, period, you save yourself a lot of not being disappointed. You save yourself a lot of not being disappointed. I had to realize that who better than me to show up for me? Who better than me to make sure I'm the love of my life, so that the love of my life can see me for me? Like, it starts here. It does not matter if you're married. It does not matter if you're in common law. It does not matter if you're dating. It does not matter if you're a parent. It does not matter if you are in career mode, in school, etc., etc. You have to be the love of your life. Because if you're not taking care of you, if excuse me, if you're not loving on you, people are going to treat you how you treat yourself. People are going to show up the way you show up for you. That if you do suffer from any form of depression, any form of anxiety, any mental health, anything that causes you a level of anxiety, find your safe space. Create your safe space. I don't care if you have to find an area of your house that has a area that could be utilized or revamped. Find the thing that you enjoy, that makes you very woosah, gives you zen, and make that be just your little cubby. Make that just be your little spot. Like when we was in kindergarten back in the day, I don't know how it is now. Everything's gonna change, highly. We had cubbies, and you were assigned to that cubby for the whole year. Find a space in your home that is magically about you, and no one is allowed over there. Not even the cats, not even the dogs, not even family members. That is your little space. I don't even care if you have two closets in your room and you have to create one to be like more whimsical, put some LED lights and make it like very like your little hideout. It's multiple ways within your home to find a safe space. For me, the closet is not. I prefer to be in the light. Some people like the dark, to each his own. I am by my bay window having a blast with me and my plants and my books and whatever I choose to do. I enjoy being my safe space. I expect nothing um more than that. I want to be happy. I'm going to be happy. And I'm always working on ways simply to be happy, that my type of happiness right now is not really materialized. It's absolutely not, because when you done been on the vacations, you done spent the money, you done did a thing, you done been in career mode, you done everything possible to try to assume that that will help the fillers. And when you realize none of these things really help, especially if you don't have the right team, your leadership is trash, it's highly toxic, nothing is in alignment, that sometimes you really just do have to go back to the drawing board and you really just have to figure it out again, that who puts a limit besides us as human beings, putting all this unnecessary pressure on ourselves to be great at what certain age. I say if you're 76 years old and you always desired to go back to school, and at that particular time and that particular era of life it was frowned upon, go do you, boo. I feel like if you've always wanted to do a pottery class and there is a local pottery class that is in walking distance or in distance for you to drive, go do you, boo. I feel that if you miss riding your bikes, as an 80s baby, we used to ride bikes all the time. And now where I am at in my state, in my city, I see a lot of adults and kids walking and riding bikes, getting back traditionally active, because we was never supposed to be sitting up in the house watching TV and eating and sleeping. I come from the generation, we were outside, we were active, we did not have a choice because there was no sitting under grown adults. Okay, like we have to get back active, and getting active does not have an age range, but it has a safety. Because if you are a heart patient, of course, you're not going to be trying to do something that is unsafe. We always want to make sure we're within our means of safety. But as long as you're staying consistent, you're doing a thing that is going to make you feel good about yourself, make you feel good about your esteem, make you feel like the safe space and the love that you desire, that when you get to pouring into yourself and giving yourself an overflow like you've always given everybody else, it's like the sky is, it's like the song, I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. It's like, whoa, like when you really reach that level of I can breathe. I've spent my entire life giving. I've spent my entire life pushing and pulling. I can finally breathe. And breathing is like we're breathing now, but I'm saying like genuinely, really breathing. Like I can take a deep breath. I'm finally in a place of satisfaction. I'm not in a place of greed. I'm not in a place of being overproductive. I'm not in a place of overanalyzing. I'm not in a place of mental or physical abuse. Like I'm really wanting more for myself, and I really want to be my becoming. And I feel like as long as you're not stopping and giving up on yourself, it can happen. It will happen. It does take time, but you have to be patient with yourself in the process, because there is no manual to when your breakthrough will come. It is the manifestation, but it's also the work, it's the fruition, it is the meditation, it is the thought process, it is everything that you set up within your core, within your system, within your life, to go back to the drawing board, to stop yourself in your tracks, to create those living boundaries so that people will realize, no ma'am, no sir, not today. That's what we're not going to do. I get that's what you think you're going to do, but no ma'am, no sir, not today. So boundaries and self-love, reorganizing, finding new ways to love on self, creating safe spaces for yourself, and saving time for you. Because guess what? You spend all that time, as I stated earlier in the video, on giving to the work, giving to the career, giving to the children, giving to the relationship. We're taking some of that and we're going to give into ourselves. Because we missed the play a long time ago. And we're going to go back and get the catch. Because we are the catch. We are the prize. Okay? So, yes, this is what this episode is about. Thank you for all my viewers, for those that are here. And thank you for supporting the It Gets to a Point podcast. It is very real. It is very authentic. I don't have like a fancy background. We ain't got that rich yet. It ain't saying we ain't gonna get there. We just ain't got there yet. But I am happy with my becoming, that I can go back and look at me as I am growing with my podcast, using this as a safe space for myself, intellectually being able to pour into those that may take what I'm saying and be able to utilize it and make it work for you. Because guess what? We all could use a little help somewhere. So thank you again for the It Gets to a Point podcast, taking time to hear what I got to say and making it your own and pouring into yourself. And this is episode Pour Into Yourself, Self-Care. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you so much for your time and have a good day. Bye.